Control ends up being more favorable than he was in the first game of the first game of this series, because for SilverName, it's not specifically teched to beat Hunter. I don't think you're just going for a general, more tempo game plan with the Elix in there and Darius Crowley. But I mean, hey, we saw in the previous game, tempo worked pretty well for him.
Indeed, it did. You know, that was really how BoarControl suffered. Was he just got chipped away. And this game, it's a very different story. You see the facial expression there.
He just mouths, got it.
Yeah, which confirms to me it was not necessarily a misappropriation of resources. I think he could have gotten more time in the previous game. However, that Dire Frenzy missing was the key part of the puzzle for BoarControl in the previous game. And now that he's got it, I think he's pretty darned comfortable.
I mean, yeah, that's how you play Hearthstone in the top level, right? Even if different plays wouldn't have won you the game, some of the time they would have made you more likely to win, which is, you've got to maximize your chances, which I think maybe BoarControl didn't do last game. But either way, this hand is looking a lot more like it to take the series.
Goes for a pair of Spring Paws here, as Visha will contest by just being a sizable body. Huffer will contest by charging in, and Leok will contest by use of the 1/1s.
Wow. Forward planning, one might say.
Why would you do that?
Don't know. Something to say. Just making conversation.
Just no matter what animal companion you get the perfect one?
Yeah.
What kind of random is that? So,
what if
summon a random animal companion, it's just like, sleeping dog. You're like, what? You're like, what is that?
Yeah. No one's got it before. Weird,
Just a 2/3.
Can't attack.
You go hover over the mana cost and just 3 mana 2/3, and you're like, what?
Why is this dog sleeping?
It's not even it just doesn't attack.
It could.
It could,
but it won't.
Just doesn't. It's a good boy.
We're done.
Amen, brother. Straightforward for SilverName on how to contest. However, he is now, I would say, quite vulnerable to BoarControl starting to set the pace of this game. Bombs drawn early, that's what BoarControl would like to see.
Good. Yep, that's very, very good. As we see there, SilverName throwing up his hand. The Blastmaster Boom, you just want as many bombs in your opponent's deck as possible to get as many boom bots summoned when you play him, as we saw the nail in the coffin last game.
Misha's back.
Oh, and with the Master's Call as well, just means he can keep churning out these rushing, life-stealing minions, no matter how many bombs end up exploding here. BoarControl is just sitting at 30.
It's going to have to be about 6 at once. Perhaps a few less if SilverName can, you know, rustle BoarControl here, but...
Yeah. I don't think he's rustling anything this game, other than BoarControl's jimmies.
Dire Frenzy on the Vicious all day, every day. Now is the time.
I agree.
Savannah High main.
You don't have to do it now, but you always do it on the scale idea. I think BoarControl has learned his lesson last game, and that's exactly what you want.
Is this a nod specifically to Dynamatic?
It's good against Super Collider because it's a single minion. Good against Dynamatic. Good against Brawl. Good against Warpath. It's just a good minion against Warrior, which is arguably why he put 2 of them in his deck.
Ah, interesting.
Unlike the floating head from the new adventure, single-player adventure.
This just gives you advice.
Yeah. Put 2 of these in your deck to beat Warrior.
Have you tried taking extra turns? I've had so much fun with the new adventure stuff.
Yeah, it's a good one.
SilverName just kind of desperately scraping here for something. Uh-oh.
That's great for BoarControl at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, uh-oh for SilverName.
Yeah. Blastmaster Boom is a War Golem at this point.
There's 1 more bomb left? 2 from Wrench Caliber and 1 from Clockwork.
Oh, he's played the Clockwork as well. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay. So it's just classic Dr. Boom, if you will.
It's a classic.
As BoarControl here, still with plenty of options to go for.
Look, all I'm saying is, this is what we were missing last game, was the Dire Frenzy, Vicious Scalehide.
Yeah.
Like, I'm certain it's a bias in my head, but I'm like, I just lost to not having this. I'm going to do it immediately. The thought here for Boar is he doesn't want to put extra stuff into his deck to water down Zul'jin.
Right, yeah,
draw.
That's what I was going to bring up. Which is definitely going to be leading him towards going for the Unleash the Beast first. How does that play around Warpath? He's a 7 mana, so even if you trade in, still can't kill off with the Warpath unless he swings in as well. So you're making him take the 5 here, even if he wants to go for a Warpath turn. So I think trading with the Wyvern there was pretty good.
Play it.
You just play it?
Yep.
Oh, imagine if the bombs hadn't been drawn. That would have been insane for SilverName. But still, he had his luck with Blastmaster Boom in the previous game. It didn't even need to play it. It just blew up his opponent with bombs in the deck.
What now?
It just actually did nothing in that game.
Literally did nothing.
It was just flashy. You know, it's awfully tempting to get Darius in there farming stuff. I'm okay with the Harrison as well. I think Harrison's a totally fine play in this spot. I just feel like with the way that the game has gone for SilverName, you're going to absolutely need something desperate to happen. And both of those to me say Harrison Jones to find the right cards, or Blastmaster Boom and have the Boom bots do some work.
Right. Because, I mean, we're kind of like, oh god, he has to play this Dr. Boom here. It's still just Dr. Boom, one of the best cards printed in Hearthstone ever. But with the, if he can just find himself one Clockwork Goblin here with the Augmented Elec in hand, he can really juice up that Blast Monster.
Also, that's, oh, did find Ziliax though.
I think he's already played.
Did he play Ziliax?
Maybe not.
That was last game for sure. Oh gosh, that's a whole new caster meta I forgot about. Did they play it this game or the previous one?
Yeah, this is okay for BoarControl. The way he played this did mean that he was vulnerable to Warpath. Was there any way he could have sequenced it?
He would sacrifice 5 damage to do it.
So that he traded in differently, yeah. Which is obviously pretty bad.
Ooh. Very nice draw for SilverName here.
Yes, very important.
And that is partially thanks to the fact that he went for Harrison Jones on the previous turn to dig into the deck and try to find something. So now gets to clear with Warpath. Will face down a big threat on the following turn. Has Militia Commander or the Dr. Boom if you'd like.
You got Dire Frenzy off of the Shimmerflight. These Shimmerflights have been absurd for BoarControl. I mean, I guess at this point Dire Frenzy isn't even actually that good because he's already got them shuffled into his deck.
Well, it's still pretty good.
It's up there. In terms of the Hunter's spells, there's some real stinkers in there as well.
Like Misdirection.
Rotter.
Yeah, nice turn here for SilverName as well.
Quickest turn he's played so far, I think.
Darius is very patient and now farming away.
The way Darius has his hands in the picture will never not be funny to me. Just, hey.
It's out to the side.
Yeah. Come on, boys.
Is it the 4/6 scale height or the 1/3?
I'm not sure. It is likely to be the big, juicy scale hide, which would trade evenly with the Darius.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Which you don't want to do, obviously.
I was thinking here of like how to get tempo in this spot, and it requires you to use another Dire Frenzy.
Well, I mean, you can just go Timberwolf double Springfall, right? Is pretty good here.
I feel like the Timberwolves, when you have Tundra Rhinos in the deck, are extremely key to hang on to.
Interesting.
Because that's like your deliverable lethal. It's like just Tundra Rhino and then Timberwolves.
I think the deck has so much value in it that you don't actually need to bother with that. You just need to stay alive.
Okay.
And I think I fully agree with you in the previous metas mid-range Hunter. That was how you did it.
Gotcha.
You played a whole bunch of charge minions because you also had Crackling Razormaw in there, which was a huge damage buff.
Ah, yeah.
Whereas now the actual amount of damage you can charge in with Rhino, I think is a little bit lower, and so you're better focused on just making sure you don't take any damage and just win through value.
SilverName's playing this turn. It's quick.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, this, I feel, was,
The button.
yeah, fairly easy to navigate this turn. There's not too much threat on the board. You want to start getting the value with Boom, as he gets a pretty nice couple of hero powers there.
Indeed. I think, you know, the 1/1s would have been okay as well, but 7 armor
Happy with
more
that,
than
yeah.
fends off the current board state.
Yeah. And just getting that extra value is so important.
Okay, well, I know for a fact now that one of those is a 4/6.
Excellent deduction, Sherlock.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage. So Boar's just got to find a way to build out the extra damage in the meantime.
Wait, what was the count of 10 damage, sorry?
Tundra Rhino and second Timberwolf.
Oh, okay, okay. I mean, well, at the moment, I imagine he's probably saving up to go for Rhino, double 4-attack Scale Hide, and the Timberwolf as well. Is a huge amount of burst he could pull off in one turn.
Yeah, excuse me, that's also 11 damage, just in the immediacy.
Right.
Quickly.
Kind of interesting turn here. I imagine BoarControl is very interested in not only chipping away with hero powers, but also just being mana efficient in general. And that's a conflicting game plan right now.
Yeah. I feel like he's, in a way, haunted by the ghosts of the previous game, where he wasn't willing enough to just throw his stuff onto the board, to just play out his cards. And so therefore, playing the Wyvern here, it's not the quickest play. It's only a 6-mana 5/5, since the rush doesn't matter. And so, you know, the Rhino would have had stealth. He could have played at the Vicious Scale Hides. He could have played another Dire Frenzy. He could have been quicker here. But I think, again, given how greedy his secondary deck is, as opposed to his primary, allows him to play in this way.
Major turn for SilverName coming up here, too. We're looking at full board wipe and then some.
Yeah. It's interesting choices. I mean, Dynamatic is pretty much always just the choice. But Hecklebot could be interesting to try and snipe out one of your opponent's choice minions.
I've always been a big fan of the Scrap Hound.
As
when
a
I find-
concept, or
Well,
you think it's good?
I think it's often very reasonable because of the ability to magnetize. Like just finding like now like a random war gear or finding like a Beryllium Nullifier
I agree.
or forbid a Ziliax.
Right, and you know, if he had one of those powerful magnetic cards in hand, I honestly would not be surprised to see him go for the Scrap Pound. However, without that insurance that he would find that, I think Dynamatic is just a guaranteed clear on most of pretty much anything your opponent can deliver next turn.
More armor showing up.
There's
Which means
Blast.
BoarControl has more work to do.
Blastmaster Boom now, I believe, just has no boombots attached to it whatsoever.
It's a third bomb draw, yeah. With Elegant Hand, though, that quickly changes.
Yes.
The thing for me is SilverName's next turn, where I think that's why he ended up taking the Dynamatic here, is if you can't forego the hero power because it's so powerful, it's tough to play Boom Reaver. So you have to wait until your hero power is negligible.
Yeah.
Which
Usually
doesn't always
Boom.
come up.
Yep. Usually the only one you're really happy to skip over is Kaboom, 1 damage to everything. Or 1 damage to all enemies, sorry. But yeah, he will want to find a time to play that, because even though the minions he will summon from his deck are, for the most part, fairly small, it's something just to get a little bit of extra damage through. As BoarControl is kind of stuck in the eternal Dr. Boom hell, where your mission is just to stick 1 minion on board for a turn, which is, it turns out, a very, very tall order.
Good luck.
Against Dr. Boom, yeah. However, not as hard as it could be against some other builds of Bomb Warrior. There are no Omega Devastators in any of the lists for SilverName, which definitely helps.
Oh, there's none in any of the stacks.
Yeah.
So I actually, now that I'm seeing that, I'm a bit concerned with SilverName's ability to just outright play the long game. Because Elysiana
I
and
agree.
Banker
I
are
agree.
out of the deck, obviously.
I think the primary game plan in this matchup is to just slam Blastmaster Boom on turn 7 for as early as possible, get the full board out, and then win from there. Because the Hunter doesn't really have an answer to that.
His Boom would have just tried to play the recovery slot was all, though. So he
Right.
couldn't have played it if that's the
Right, yeah. Whereas if BoarControl hadn't drawn those bombs and he could have got a full board of Boombots there, I think he was very far ahead. Or at least very much in the game. Whereas at the moment, BoarControl is still so much on the front foot in terms of value. He's got 3 Dire Frenzies, all of which could be recast by Zul'jin later on.
Wow.
I think I agree. It's, you know, we need to get things back into perspective. That's a 2-mana 4/6 lifesteal rush.
Yeah.
You don't pass up cards like that.
And now we're about to add some beefy Tundra Rhinos to the mix.
Beefy Rhinos.
That is scary if you're SilverName.
Quickly.
I think Boar should be pressing the issue here as well, although there is a lot to be said about losing the board here.
There's a lot to be said about magnetizing random mechs on, right? There's still one mystery mech in hand, and also the hero power.
Mystery mechs.
Mystery mech. It sounds like one of the worst Doctor Who villains of all time. It is I, Mystery Mech.
Your superpower is that you can only attack if you cast a spell this turn.
Wait a second. Oof. I mean,
Yeah.
like, Eternium Rover's the best card in a vacuum out of all of these, but do you want just something more expensive? Like the Spring Rocket's immediate removal, which could be pretty important in this game.
Spring Rocket, I think, services the purpose this turn, which is just a Dinomatic and then Spring Rocket.
Yeah.
Clear off the Rhino.
I like that.
Punch face.
Shadow Ball.
And there's the Kaboom for the Boom Reaver next turn.
Right.
Oh, boy.
Which we know is the big one.
It
So
could...
the other one is discarded off the tracking.
Ah, correct.
And so now, I mean, how much damage are we actually looking at? The Rhino is 5 attack. The 2 Vicious Gale Highs are 4 attack each, which is 13. The
17?
yes, 17 damage I make it.
So is Timberwolf the next Dire Frenzy?
Possibly, unless you want to set up a preemptive Stranglethorn Tiger. Like if we were to see Tiger Dire Frenzy on this turn, which guarantees you 9 damage to the face in addition to that, which would pump it up to 26 damage.
That's exact lethal.
That's exact lethal over the next couple of turns.
It's actually 27 damage, I think. We forgot to add one to the Stranglethorn.
No, we added one to die with, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dire Frenzy's +3. Oh.
I think that would have set up exactly that. Again, my maths could be slightly off. 17. I'm pretty sure it was though. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
exactly 26. And what could have gone wrong there?
Weapons Project.
Brawl? Yeah, I guess. Any armor gain, yeah. But like, if your Stranglethorn Tiger stays on the board, even if you don't get lethal,
it dealt
great.
8.
Exactly.
And you have
smack
3
your
more
opponent.
Stranglethorn Tigers. It's interesting. I mean, I think there's a lot of different ways for this to play out, where BoarControl has now also enabled the fact that there's 2 more Tundra Rhinos in the deck. So 20% of the time he draws a Tundra Rhino that is pretty close to representing lethal.
Yeah. And also, he does want to find that Zul'jin before too long, because he's still perfectly happy playing out these beasts for the moment, but you know, he doesn't want to dilute his deck from the big boy himself.
Not too many big hits left in the deck for this Boom Reaver. It's about the biggest one.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Harrison Jones was used this game.
Yes, it was.
So 3/4 is... 3/4, Ziliax, Clockwork Goblin, they're all about the same size.
Yeah. Clear the board here, but it is not a happy way to do so. But yet again, BoarControl has tried to develop the board. SilverName has removed every single minion again. Boom is insane, man.
Just getting wacky. One health outside of that marked shot, just being juice.
SilverName, when he played his Town Crier on 1, was thinking, can't wait for when my Boom Reaver goes to 5 health against my opponent's mark shot on turn 18.
Just like Kalento earlier.
All pre-planned.
A lot of extra armor here drawn for SilverName, but 8/8 Tiger is scary.
And how do we counteract that as SilverName? Brawl is obviously the Hail Mary you can go for. I mean, you can actually make it 3 mechs and an augmented Elec and then Brawl to not guarantee, but make it very unlikely that the Tiger survives. Or he could just go for a 50-50. That seems insane. You always hero power first. You always hero power first.
I think you just shield block and take your time here. He's just 50-50ing it! And look at Boar's reaction! The Tiger loses!
That's unbelievable! How do you not hero power first there?
When you just gotta have an extra 1/1.
Well, when you've got to have a 7-5,
That's
right?
the thing,
Like,
is the 50-50 results in the 7-5 living instead of a 1/1 living.
Right.
Like, I think SilverName realizes he has to win this game, like, pretty fast. Like, the inevitability is not nearly on his side. And so he decides that taking a risk is the superior option there. I don't really blame him for that either.
I guess he is that far behind, actually. This was a...
He's losing pretty bad.
Yeah. This was just damage control, seeing that, you know, I'm never winning this game. I have to get these things to go my way, and they are. That would have just been game over on the spot, pretty much, if he lost that. But he's taken risks.
Even just this spot's bad. The Elecs are there. Shield Slam's there. I mean, honestly, I'm thinking it's Blastmaster Boom time.
As a 7-7.
I mean, if you were that desperate for a 7-5, are we not this desperate for a 7-7?
I agree. Yeah,
Just floated 4 mana.
I don't know if I do agree, actually. I think he is hoping that he has enough time to activate it, because the 7-7 on its own is really his last threat.
Okay, Master's Call also pretty insane.
That's absurd. Turbos through his whole deck. He will get almost guaranteed a juiced up Vicious Scalehide, a juiced up Rhino, and a juiced up Tiger.
Oh, he drew a non-juiced Tiger. I was wondering why it was taking so long.
Oh,
here.
right, okay.
He drew one of the, he
Oh,
drew
'cause
the
he's
other
got
5/5.
two
Yeah.
in his deck. Right.
Wrench Caliber found.
There it is. That's the shuffle he
That's
needs.
a big deal too, because if I recall correctly, there's only 1 Vicious Scalehide left.
I think you're correct. I believe you're correct.
That's 2 more bombs in the deck. And up to 25.
And that's not a bomb, which means there will be, I believe, guaranteed ability to get a full Blastmaster Boom board next turn.
Yeah, that might not be enough though.
But it might be. I mean, he could even brawl first, actually, if he just wants to deal with his opponent's board and then follow up afterwards with the pressure.
That 8/8 is awfully scary right now.
Yeah.
You got to handle the board in some capacity.
I mean, obviously they all have rush, so you can likely end up, well, you can definitely clear at least the Scalehide and the Wyvern.
Oh, that's a good
Sometimes get the clear on the 8/8 as well. But even if they all go face, like, the bombs, you just hope finish him off at that point from his deck rather than the boom bots that you're rushing through as well.
So that actually is an interesting point. Is that an attack face and then Blastmaster Boom then?
Well, you want the... I mean, you can hero power first, right? So you got hero power.
I mean, just the attack face is really the question. As far as
Oh, right. Okay, sorry. Well, you want to have the highest amount. So I guess, yeah, just being able to sacrifice them all in is probably more valuable, which I guess is another reason to not actually hero power first.
This is an interesting game.
This is a very interesting game.
So he wants maximum boom bottage.
Yeah.
Don't blame him for this one either.
This makes sense. Yeah, this does make sense. Because I was wondering, if he wants to be able to rush them in immediately, you obviously don't hero power first. But I don't think that's actually that important. I think he's very happy as long as he doesn't die here. to just blow this whole place sky high.
Uh-oh.
But now for BoarControl, we need to wonder, does he have lethal capabilities?
Uh-oh!
No.
But he's got to win the game.
Okay, so Tundra Rhino, Stranglethorn Tiger is 16 plus 5, 21 damage. That does not win.
He's at 3. This doesn't work.
He's actually just going to die.
You can't win.
He could just lose on the spot here.
Wait a minute, is that enough? Unleash the Hounds makes 6.
It never gets there, right? Getting lucky with these bombs. Oh.
Wow, SilverName's bombs go face one way or the other and wipe out BoarControl. 6 boombots are dangerous.